Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're back in AFK Journey, and in today's video I wanted to share with you my Skyclops teams that I've been using from the beginning, like day 1 of my account, to now we're like maybe day 25. We're on server 139, so we started maybe 3 days after the global launch. But the Dream Realm in general is just going to be a mode where you want to maximize your damage because the rewards you get are really worthwhile, and also because every day you're going to be getting rewards. So if you can break into a higher tier by changing up your teams a bit or working towards building an improved team, then it's really going to benefit your account a lot if you're able to do this. So here's a team I'm currently running right now for maximum damage, but we're going to start with the team that I began with pretty much on day 1 of my account. So for a long time, if you have Thoran, Thoran is going to be a good option as a tanker because he resurrects himself. So if you're against a difficult boss, then that's really useful because he basically can almost act like 2 tanks in one. And he also has a very useful debuff. He increases the damage that your team will deal to the boss by 13% at the first upgrade, and then it goes up to 16 and 17%. And this is from magical and physical damage both, without using any skills. Oh, well, he just has to use Soul Plunder, which he uses at the beginning of the fight. So I ran him, and because Cecia is going to be your highest, most powerful damage dealer in the early game because you're pushing PvE with her, she is the best option for you to run in the early game, especially before you don't get, if you don't have the other A-level heroes like Odie, Corin, and Marilee ascended that much, which you won't in your first few days of playing the game, and even probably first few weeks for most people, then Cecia is still going to usually out-damage them. But I did also run Odie because Odie is one of the heroes that, even without any upgrades into his ascension, he's going to be able to still use his poison effect and stack the poison onto the boss, and that is going to provide a lot of damage. So it was this, and then we had Smokey. Smokey is really good for Skyclops. Smokey is actually not good for 2 of the Dream Realm bosses, and you want to try and not use him if possible. But for Skyclops, he's really good because he doesn't get interrupted. And so he's able to get off maximum heals for your team, keeping them alive. And then also, he provides attack buff and haste to power up the damage that you deal. And then the final hero that I was using on my account, let me just try to remember. I think it might have been Kruger. I'm pretty sure I was using Kruger for a long time. I didn't use Shakir really until I got him to Mythic Plus. And even then, Kruger is just sometimes better because he provides the defense shatter effect onto the boss. So just as an example, we're going to test out this team. It isn't like the best team that I can run at the account level I have, but I will show it in action. The Star Shard spell you always want to run in the Skyclops Dream Realm boss. It will just allow you to get off more damage. So here you can see that the team, you have a lot of tanking power with both Kruger and Thoran can come back to life if need be, and if your Smokey is also here and Smokey doesn't die, then he's going to keep that front line alive as well and keep powering up your back line with attack buff in haste as well. And also Cecia, this is why she's good in Dream Realm. She deals a lot of damage. Her summon also deals a lot of damage and can also tank more for your team. And it can also help you clear those minions which spawn by the Skyclops boss. So my current maximum was 20 million, just over 20 million damage with the team that we saw originally. But here we're almost going to get close to 20 million, maybe just shy of it by 1 or 2 million. And this really shows you the power of this team, even using Cecia as a damage dealer. And really the only hero you want to have ascended highly here is Odie. That will allow you to get more damage off. Okay, so we're quite far behind, maybe around 16 million compared to 20 million, so a 4 million power drop, but still, it is a good power team, and in your early game, this is going to be usually more powerful than the other version because you're not going to have like Marilee built up to Mythic Plus, and then Marilee doesn't do that well. Cecia is usually just better. And also this has a double tank lineup, so it's really safe. So this is what I would recommend for your early game. Odie does well without ascension levels. Do not use Marilee, in my opinion, in Dream Realm until she's Mythic Plus. That's when her exclusive weapon is unlocked and she really can start stacking up the damage. But before that, a team like this would be better. And we also could have taken Odie to level 200 because if we were running this team just to increase the damage a bit more. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the next team, which I started running was to replace Cecia and then add in Shakir. This team should be doing a little bit better, but not by a huge deal. And one thing that I like here is, yeah, we'll put Kruger in the backline so that he can get the shield because he's Mythic Plus, but the shield and life drain doesn't really matter for this boss because you are not at any risk of your front line dying. The boss, if anything, can only kill your backline because with his AoE attack that he does sometimes. But yeah, for me it hasn't been killing you, and usually because your Smokey will keep everyone topped off at full health, it will be difficult for the Skyclops to kill your team. But maybe if he crits your Smokey, then that could be bad for you. Okay, so this team has a little bit more power than Cecia because you have Kruger to buff up the front line. You have Shakir to buff up the front line, so everyone will be dealing a little bit more damage. Because even though they are tanks, they do deal more damage, of course, by having the attack buff. And Kruger himself deals a lot of damage, especially with the defense shatter that is applied by Kruger. So Shakir does a lot of damage based on that. And he can also help you clear the minions a little bit faster. But as you can see here, the team is not that much stronger compared to the Cecia, and in fact it's actually a little bit weaker. So I think even though I did try this Shakir version of the team, and this is really the sad thing because Shakir, we got up to +10 exclusive weapon and still he is not going to, and the only reason I did this was in order to try to do better in Dream Realm because he's a buffer for your team, but he doesn't do any better, so that's a sad thing. And it just makes me regret more and more the fact that we gave him temporal essences. But anyway, we're recovering from that. Like Marilee is she's at +8 right now. We should get it to +10 in like maybe a week. And then Corin will have to take the +10. But yeah, Shakir is pretty underwhelming, honestly, in these bosses. I thought his buff was going to be more impactful. Okay, so that is this team. Then what you can do is you can add in... let's try a different version without Marilee, because before Marilee's Mythic Plus, I think she's probably not a good option to be running here, but you can run, for example, him, the Korin, because Korin helps you by clearing the minions that are spawned by Skyclops a little bit more, and Korin can work even without Ascension levels, because he has his 3 major skills. His legendary plus will give him haste, which is nice, but he's usable without it. His mythic plus allows him to deal more damage to the boss, but his main function, I feel like, in this Skyclops is, yeah, he does deal damage to the boss, but he also helps you clear those minions which are spawned quicker, which then allows you to get back to damaging the boss. So I think this team should do pretty well. Let's just try it out. We can also probably move... like this. Yeah, let's try out this team. So this can be another early game version before you have Marilee at Mythic Plus, but once you get Marilee to Mythic Plus, then we're going to show the final version, which is the team that I had initially locked in. Yeah, so as you can see here, I mean, Corin is helping clear the minions a little bit faster, but maybe he's doing even a slower job compared to Cecia. So Cecia is a very viable option in Skyclops, but the combination of Corin plus Marilee, it helps you clear these minions so quickly because Marilee also can target multiple minions at a time. And I think also the reason we're killing them quite quickly is because of Smokey. Smokey's Mythic Plus will cause enemies to take 12% of their maximum health each second when they're in his aura. And that really helps for killing the minions quicker. So if you don't have a Mythic Plus Smokey, then you wouldn't probably be killing these as quickly. Okay, so this is doing even less damage than the Thoran version, so you don't even have to go for Korin. You can just stick to Thoran, Kruger, and honestly, like all of this is really just a testament and showing you that the initial team that you can be running, which is Thoran, Odie, Cecia, Kruger, and Smokey, that is pretty much the best team you're gonna get until you have a lot of Mythic Pluses. Like when we have Mythic Plus Marilee, and ideally even Mythic Plus Corin, that's when this team is really going to shine. So for this team, we're now going to show it. It's going to be like this. So you have the Kruger here to provide the defense shatter. This will power up Marilee's damage because she's a physical damage dealer, and also Korin's damage onto the boss. You have Odie here just for additional damage, and you don't have any tank, like dedicated tank. You just have Smokey tanking the boss, because if you're at a high enough level, then Smokey is able to tank the boss here without any trouble. So there's no reason to run a tank, and we just choose Kruger instead of Thoran, because Thoran does provide overall a better debuff because it helps with both magical and physical damage. But if your key damage source is Marilee, which is physical damage, then you want to have Kruger in here because it powers it just powers up your damage that Marilee can output more. So here's the team. As you can tell, it's crazy because we're already at 11 million damage, and we have more than half of the boss fight left to go. And Corin and Marilee are both destroying the minions, which will allow us to get back to damaging the boss as quickly as possible. We can briefly talk about Corin's skills after we're done with this boss fight. And what I'm going to do in this position, which is just some general Dream Realm advice, when you're so close to being maybe knocked out, we're in the top 10, but just barely right now. We're exactly rank 10. So someone could come in and knock us out of our position. And because we got 20 million once, it means that with different or better RNG, we will be able to get even more than 20 million. Most likely. So we're going to keep doing attempts until we can get as high as we can. Okay, we got more than 20 million, but just by like 5 or 6 million. And the person who is one ahead of us in the leaderboard is only he is only 200,000 ahead of us. So yeah, we're gonna keep pushing until we can get above main one. Although main one might have more attempts left, he can try to keep going. And yeah, and you can even spend gold once you're done with the 10 refreshes. You can spend gold for another 10 refreshes, but it does get a little bit costly, and it isn't the best thing to be doing. But because we did like a lot of experimentals for this video, then yeah, we're gonna have to go for gold in order to get all of our attempts in. Okay, so if we go to Corin to briefly talk about his skills and why I think he's good here. His ultimate will deal 70% damage 4 times, so that's 280% damage to enemies within 2 tiles. So he's going to be close to the minions respawn, and if he can hit all of the minions with his attack, it really helps you burst them down and get through them to get back to attacking the boss more quickly. He provides a lot of shielding, although in Skyclops there isn't really much of an issue with surviving. It's just about you need to deal as much damage as you can and also kill the minions as quickly as possible so that you can get back to damaging the boss, because it's just a time limit type mode. And that's also why Star Shard is the best artifact hands down, because that increases your damage that you deal during the boss fight as much as possible. So you only go for a different artifact if you are a little bit worried that you might not survive or you don't have sustainability. Then you can go for Awakening artifact. And then he deals true damage after dashing, which is good for boss damage. And Corin is guaranteed a critical strike to enemies 1 tile beyond. So again, like, I think this applies even onto his ultimate, and if he can hit the minions, get all criticals onto them, it can help you burst through them. And even if he's just attacking, he's guaranteed to land a critical hit if he's more than 1 tile away, which he will be unless someone moves up to him. And then you have his hero focus. It increases his haste. This is not too big of a deal, but you always want to max out these for any hero which you're using because it's just really cheap. Only requires the blue title essences. And then Vine Arms here. Vine Arms is his key skill, and this will really power up and allow him to get off damage. And like, if I had him at Mythic Plus right now, definitely our boss score would be much more, maybe 22 plus million, because he would be then outputting a lot of damage based on true damage, which is equal to 2% of the target's max HP. And then also upgrading to exclusive weapon, you can increase the true damage, and you can also increase his attack speed, which, especially the attack speed, is the big bonus, and that's why getting to +5 is a priority. So that's why Corin is really good. And Marilee, we've already kind of discussed this, but Marilee's Mythic Plus allows her to begin dealing true damage after she gets 6 stacks of Battlefield Learning. And she stacks up whenever an ultimate is casted by an ally, or when she has Hyper Focus effect, and every 10 seconds that can give her one of these stacks. And then she just begins dealing insane damage. We should actually do one more fight just to show you the damage chart, because or you can take my word for it, Marilee's damage is like 8 million compared to Odie only doing like 2.5 million, and basically all the other healers here doing around 2.5 million. It might be the fact that Odie is like, he needs to keep attacking the boss to get off high damage and keep stacking the poison, but because these minions keep spawning, the poison he can't stack it up as effectively on the boss, and he doesn't do that well for clearing the minions, but Marilee deals a lot of damage to clear the minions, so that's probably also why the damage might be off. But no, because the damage I think chart which displays at the end should only be showing the damage onto the boss, I think. Okay, so it just comes down to this point right here, how much burst damage can we get? I did some experimentation. I tried Thoran instead of Kruger, but it was not as effective. And I tried Odie at level 200 instead of Marilee, but it was also, again, not as strong. So you want to have Marilee on your highest level here if she's Mythic Plus and her exclusive weapon is active. But really, the key thing is we need to get her exclusive weapon to level 10. Because right now it's only at level 8. And so and then we also want to get Corin to Mythic Plus. So yeah, this was not as good of a boss fight as you could see, but if we take a look at the damage chart, it is pretty much all Marilee, and then Smokey is dealing a lot of damage as well. To the minions he also deals a lot of damage, but even to the boss he deals damage, because when it's ticking on the boss, it is going to deal damage equal to a percentage of the maximum HP, but that is going to be capped at like I think 600% of Smokey's attack, or some percentage of Smokey's attack. But still, once he's Mythic Plus, Smokey can contribute a lot of damage to the fight, even more than Odie. It's really strange how this damage chart works, because Odie is one of our key damage dealers. He's almost Supreme Plus. He has like a plus 12 exclusive weapon. So yeah, I'm going to do more of these attempts off screen. Another thing, which is just a general tip for Dream Realm, is that you want to wait until you're as powerful as you can be for the day, usually after you've done all of your quests, all of your missions, upgraded your heroes, and done everything you needed to do for the day, and then you want to attack and use all of your attempts in Skyclops or whatever Dream Realm boss, so that you have your maximum damage potential. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep pushing to get ahead of main one, because we could be easily overtaken here. Even though we have quite a point lead, you never know how much of a buff they could get. But yeah, top 10 for me is very competitive, because all of these top 10 people, they all do really well on all of the different bosses we fight. But we got 9 and 10 here. We got 11 in Necro Draken, just barely, and Skyclops, who are now exactly rank 10. And it's towards the end of the day, but you never know. So tomorrow is going to be a big day, and I can't wait to make videos for that, because it will be the Primal Lord Alpha Bear, which will be very exciting. We're going to be able to earn a lot of essences, hero essences, the dust, from attacking him. I think 800 per day, which is going to really help us get to our higher level caps. And we're gonna test out the different teams and make videos on it to help you guys with your score on the boss. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because we upload daily AFK Journey content, trying to make guides which are helpful for you in your progression. If you have any ideas for future videos, you can leave it in the comment section down below. But until the next video, thank you everyone for watching, and everyone, peace out for now.